Sup? And hey, why don't you come closer? Come on, don't be shy. Just a little more. So just between you and me, don't be alarmed, but there's something creeping behind you. Oh, there you are. I've been looking for you since the last video. In which the viewers should also definitely check out, because I worked my ass off on that entire week. Anyway, do you think ghosts and demons exist? You know, the paranormal, aliens, Bigfoot, your grandma judging you from your window. If you said yes to everything so far, then you're just like me. Aw, you're so adorable. So let me tell you some spooky stories. Wait, it's not even October yet. Oh well. So, I think I've experienced my share of seemingly paranormal experiences since I was still in kindergarten back in our first home. It was a pretty old building that my parents rented, and remembering it now makes me think that it looked like some stock house. Because two of our neighbors from both sides are using the place to stock rice and biscuits. So yeah, it's true, Mom, okay? The place was pretty spacious and had 2 floors, so it was somewhat a decent place to live in. We used to have an office in the first floor because my parents were running a lending business. So I went to get my towel because I was about to take a bath. I looked up to face the counter, where a window would be. I looked up and saw... I couldn't understand what I saw, but I just ran screaming. I remembered that I clearly saw a face behind the glass. It looked like a person with messy hair and bulging eyes, with pale white skin. Ugh. I still have no idea what to make of it even now, but it still creeps me out thinking about it. And of course, nobody would believe me, except for my aunt, who apparently can see ghosts. Oh, and when we grew up, she later told us about this figure she saw, that she described that it looked like a shadow sitting on top of our car, and even my uncle also admitted seeing the same looking figure sitting inside our car. Okay, so next, I want to talk about a certain kind of rumor that circulates around schools here in the Philippines. If you're a Filipino, you can probably relate if you've ever talked about spooky stuff.
Wanna know something really spooky? Did you know that this school used to be a Japanese military camp? And then, a lot of people died. And they turned it into a cemetery. And then, that cemetery became this very school. Spooky, am I right?
There was once back in middle school in 4th grade, when phones with cameras were becoming a thing, with those, what do you call them? Batons? Batons? One of my classmates were randomly taking pictures in a classroom, and when we checked the pictures, we saw one where there was someone wearing a PE uniform, and none of my classmates were wearing PE uniform at that time. Okay. So everyone's heard of the Ouija board, right? Well, since we don't really have those here, we have a homemade solution. We call it Spirit of the Glass, in which they just use paper and a glass. And conveniently, for students, since we weren't allowed to bring glass in school, they made their own version called Spirit of the Coin. They would usually play it after school in the playground, and I would always be scared to play with them.
Alright, let's do this.
I'm scared.
I don't know.
Someone with us? Hey, don't move the coin.
I know they're just trolling, and the game is basically just a way to spook people for fun. Something funny also happened when a newspaper had an aswang picture. Aswang, by the way, is a Filipino folklore of basically the undead, mostly vampires. And the one shown on the front page was an aswang called the Manananggal. Look it up, spooky stuff. People were even panicking because Photoshop wasn't a thing back then. It was still new, and we were talking about it with my classmates at the playground. And one of them was probably trolling us, but she screamed that she saw it, and we ran like hell. Something recent also happened when I visited my friend's house last year. We were talking in her room and something caught my eye. I was sitting on the bed and she was just standing right in front of me with the door behind her. I didn't have my glasses that time, and even when everything's blurry, it was close enough that I could see something small and dark, being only a little bit larger than a toddler, crawling past the door and towards her open closet, and it even peeked a little before going back inside. My heart felt like it stopped, and my friend was just there, squinting and looking at me curiously at what had gotten me so wide-eyed. Even now, she still says that it was just probably a shadow from the room's window. And when she talks about her paranormal experiences, she always disregards it as either illusions from sleep paralysis or just a coincidence. Even so much things has happened in her house that can barely be explained. I'd also like to mention something recent that had happened where I currently live. I wanted to use a bathroom, and the one I usually use was in use. And I went to the bathroom in my parents' room instead. It was dark, but everything was fine. I finished using the bathroom, and as I went to grab the doorknob to exit the room, I felt a bony hand on the doorknob, and I felt it twist to open the door. I tried to quickly go outside to see who was messing with me, but nobody was there. Yeah, weird things has happened, and tying it to the paranormal is quite fun, even if it can be easily faked nowadays with technology. But then again, we live in a rather poor part of the country, so there's that to put into account. That's it for this week. There should be a part 2, but this time it's gonna be on Halloween. So till next time... Oh, wait. What? What's happening? No! Oh, I'm gonna be like this for a while. So, yeah. Bye!